Hello. I'm not very good at that slow fade sound. I used to have, when I did podcasts, I had the editing software and it had this nice little thing that, of course, I'm editing something that's on the screen and it's not a push button. I'm just highlight this and it did this nice diminish fade out. It was always very professional sounding, even though I was not professional. You saw me just pick fiber out of my mouth. I probably will be doing this all stream. I apologize for it right now. Can't be helped. I am working with 100% mulberry silk. It is gorgeous and it is extremely difficult to work with. Um, I am spinning a skein for the state fair, and this is what the fiber looks like. Shiny, beautiful, all sorts of wonderful. That copper color, especially, I adore. There's oranges, and it's probably a standard gold, but it kind of comes out copper looking, and then a shot of purple, which very, very, very pretty colors. Um, was done by Natural Obsessions. She was a fantastic dyer, and no longer is in business. So this is from my stash, and I've already spun one bobbin. Hi, Kay. This is what it looks like on the bobbin. And I have mixed feelings about this, okay? It's gorgeous as a single. I do not want to chain ply it. I want a two ply. And I don't know what it's going to look like to, then self ply this back on it. So I might be unhappy with it, but it's still going to the fair, whatever it is, because I am beyond restarting on anything right now. It's got to go. So yeah, I am spinning it on my Ashford, which hasn't seen my. I did two skeins on it during the Tour de Fleece and got along with it fairly well. I had a little more trouble with that bobbin that I just showed you last night or yesterday afternoon. Took me about 4 hours to spin that bobbin, which means I won't get through the amount that I have here for the stream. I don't think I can stream that long, but one way or another, I need to get it done. If not tonight, then tomorrow for sure, so I can wash it. I have a feeling it will bleed a little, but I don't think it's going to be massive enough that it's going to change how it looks. Um, but I'm not expecting. Silk is hard to get um, dye fast. Maybe she did. She was a good dyer, but we'll find out. The silk that I was spinning a while ago, and I just have the raw fiber here. Um, at one point from the Woolery, I bought this recycled sari silk, and I mean, it's obviously silk and it's shiny and it's really more like spinning a bat. Like it's not smooth, it's very clumpy. And I washed the two skeins, and I'm glad I put it in the sink by itself. It looked like Christmas in there, in the water, right? It was vivid green. Um, Nothing's coming off of my hands though, so it's not like indigo or some blues. But yeah, it definitely wasn't die fast. Oh, I just hit my camera. Sorry. It was, I guess. Oh, that's not doing well at all. Okay, so my camera got moved. I was trying to get it closer to the bobbin of the Ashford. I just could not figure out any way to do it. And then I wouldn't have had any face at all on the stream. So, Maybe another time I'll figure something out when I have a little more patience. Okay, I gotta turn around here, so you're gonna see the side of my face now, or the back of my head. I'm not sure which. The Ashford just is almost too big to be in this room to spin. And the only reason, I mean, there's two reasons I'm doing it. This silk on here, that's the Woolly Winder, and this does spin the thinnest. This is a lace flyer, um, and it does spin the thinnest of all my wheels. Uh, Even the Nano would, and when I spun that green silk, I liked it better on the Nano than I did the Roberta. I did a single on each. So, but I need a big skein. I need more than I'm going to spend on the Nano. So I had this set up when I started or before stream, but the take up is still kind of iffy. So you might see me, yeah, it's not pulling in. You might see me messing with pull in. Now this, from the ball that I showed you to this, has been, attenuated open and pre-drafted a lot. And you'll see that the next, after I use this. I just went ahead and did this ahead of stream. So let's see. You can see on the bobbin a little bit how the Woolly Winder works. It runs back and forth around the bobbin. So the white is very, very obvious against the black base of the bobbin, but you'll gradually start seeing the streaks of orange, gold, whatever this is, going on. And it's not, it's working fine. It has such a light, non-aggressive touch. It's like I'll sit here all day long and not put that single on the bobbin, and you can just keep right on pedaling, and we could just sit here all day long doing absolutely nothing. Right? That's how it feels. That's how it feels. As opposed to, and the Nano kind of feels that way too, a little bit. And they did tell me that when I bought the Nano, that it was not a hard pull in. It was a very, very soft pull in. So I was a little better on the Nano than they anticipated because I had this experience with this Ashford being that way. But it's not how I like to spin. My Aura does not spin that way. And of course the Roberta is just, it's all take up. I mean, it doesn't want you to hold the fiber at all. It wants it all right now. So I wish I could get the camera closer, but it's on a gooseneck over there, and this gives about the best that I can do without, like I said, really moving things around, unplugging, repositioning. I tried several options, but it wasn't going anywhere. Besides, this is truly just for me to get this spun. So it's hard for me to look at chat. I apologize. I will try and glance over there periodically. But I am definitely not aimed up with the monitor spinning this way. I thought about moving the wheel uh, facing the monitor. Probably could do that. Wasn't real sure my headset would reach that far. Now, yesterday when I spun this, I said it took a long time, but what I did was I spun 2 of these sections like this, and I got up and did something because of the treadling. Now, I can't do that during stream, so I will be taking some breaks, but it is hard for me. My knee will respond to an ache from this repetitive treadling. Hi, Knitter. So welcome everybody, and find a project, and I may not be real chatty today. I do feel I'm in a really, really good mood because I had a very productive morning, and it didn't have so much to do with spinning as it had to do with getting I had done 2 big wash-ups, right? Multiple sinkfuls of yarn twice. So had lots of skeins of yarn that the first batch had dried and the second a while ago, and the second batch was dried yesterday, but I put it all up today, and before I put it up, I actually got most of it in Ravelry. I didn't bother with putting anything less than 20 yards in Ravelry, like little mini skeins. Turn the music down a little bit again. Stop wheel. So anyway, my bed it's got 3 skeins of yarn over there on the drying rack that are what I was just doing yesterday or the day before. Now, okay, you must have wrapped because you're not pulling in. Yep, you wrapped. There we go. There we go. And unfortunately, I am getting this over twisted, and I don't like that. When I wrote my tongue-in-cheek, finicky wheel, finicky fiber, this is what I'm talking about. It periodically just wants to be ton of fiber, right? It doesn't want to be drafted out nice. And I have to back up and thin that out. I don't think it would matter what wheel I was spinning on. I'm pretty sure it would do that. So I've been saving these little bits of fluff that I pull off, and I'm putting it in where I am drum carding, if I want to make a bat that has some silk in it, or I can also put it in my use it for my blending board. More than likely, that's where I'll use it, is the blending board. This thing is, okay, I got it in 76 or 77. That's when I got it. and it is unfinished. The patina is the natural wood over all those years with cleanings periodically with a product called Wood Beam, which is a wood conditioner. I love this purple. I love this purple. So probably there'll be a highlight somewhere along the line of like this first part or whatever when it's everything's working nice and getting some spinning done. Because I very rarely will bring this wheel on the stream. It's just too big for the stream room. Oh, but what I was saying, since, because it is so old, there have been times when it's been really creaky. The wood has been creaks when I spin, but it's um, been in air conditioning now. We've had central air for 5 or 6 years now, maybe more. I kind of forget when we put it in. I mean, it feels like we've always had it, but we hadn't. And when this wheel was subject to all of the barometric changes and the humidity changes and everything, it's way more finicky. There were times I wouldn't even try spinning on it, but it does well now that it's in a pretty temperature controlled environment, as much as we can get in our old house. So I have plied all of the bobbins that were not for the state fair, and that involved 4 bobbins. Now I have 2 bobbins to ply that has what I spun last night on stream. I have to ply that, and then I will do that tonight. I will let this sit after I finish it, at least overnight, so it's either, if I'm lucky, I can ply this tomorrow. I do have to wash both skeins, so it's moving along. It really is moving along just fine. And I'm losing my towel here. There we go. I've had a lot worse years getting ready for the state fair. And even as good as it's going, I'm like, okay, I think maybe this ought to be the last year I do this. I say that every year. Now, I also get to the end, and it's got a lot of tangle bits. And I save those too. I don't try and spin them. They'll just be a little bulky. So I wrap my thing right here. Fortunately, it tends to stick to itself. The wood's not rough, but it's got just enough texture to it that it catches that. And I can stop and see who my first time chatter is. Rivolette. Now, this is one thing I never thought you'd see on Twitch. So cool. Well, actually, there are many people that do spin as well as knitting, but thank you. And I love your cat emoticon. She's sweet. So welcome and enjoy. Now, some people spin on electric wheels, and some people, which I have also, but some people then spin on the treadle, which this is. You can't unfortunately see the treadle. It's down on the floor. Camera depth doesn't go that far. I am spinning 100% silk. That's why it's shiny and super, super soft. it was dyed, not by me, by another vendor that I bought it from. So the first thing I have to do is separate off a piece from the, where's my camera? The ball, which is what I'm doing. I'm getting a piece off of the ball in order to work with it. And it won't pull apart unless it's well opened up, but then it'll slide apart. Silk has a super long staple for those of you who are spinners. There we go. That's the way it should work. My ball's coming undone here. What do I do with the yarn? I knit with it generally. I am not a weaver, so I don't weave, although my daughter does, so she can use it. But it is a time-consuming process. It's a somewhat expensive process as far as if you buy the fiber or what you buy. And so for that reason, I really don't think that I can really ever ask a price for it to sell it that would make me give it up. Right, make me give that skein of yarn up. I enjoy using it. At some point in time, somebody's going to have to find a home for it, but not right now. So I am going, if you see on my lap here, it's you can't see that. It's kind of a thin, and the first step is to make it thicker, wider, not thicker, wider. And it sort of unrolls and opens and lays flat. And I like working on my lap. Just a good way to do it. Then once I get it open like that, I have to grab the two ends and pull, sort of like you pull a party favor, except you don't want to open it up completely. You want it to stay connected together. It's called drafting. You tried to knit when you were younger. It was too hard for me. I started crocheting a few years ago, and I picked up way easier. Yes, yes. Lots of people do the one needle crochet hook good for the starting. So that's good. It's, thank you. It is only amazing if you don't do it. In many, many ways, what happens is, you know how you want to knit something, crochet something, and you don't bother with what you just pick up any yarn, right? And you may or may not get what you wanted. It may or may not look the way you wanted, right? It may be easy to do. It may be hard to do. Spinning is exactly the same way. Every fiber spins different. Every fiber has a way it likes to be spun. Every fiber needs lots of preparation before you spin it. If you go and buy wool from a farmer, that wool could be spun, but you're going to really have trouble. So much better if you wash it first, and then even better if you comb it or card it, which is like brushing, you know, and then so it's only amazing in that over the many years that I've done it, I've learned a lot. So I don't make as many, oh, that wasn't the way it was supposed to look at all, as I used to, right? Because I have the experience now. But that just comes with doing it. And there's a lot of things about spinning I know about it, but it's not something I can easily do. Spinning cotton's one of those. I don't spin cotton well at all. Okay. I have to remember which end I want to start on. I do have a certain color here. Am I? Nope, not wrapped. Okay. Okay. So all of that I just did before I, turned here and started spinning just makes it easier to get a really smooth. It's called a single because there's a single strand. And by the way, there are always, for me, at least 2 strands that I apply together. And I will show you. This is what the other bobbin looks like that I've already spun. Right there. This bobbin that I'm working on right now will look like this because I divided the fiber in half. And those 2 will then get put together for 2-ply yarn. How long have I been spinning knitting? I was knitting way before I was spinning. My grandma taught me to knit, as most often happens. And I started spinning when I got this wheel, which was in 1977. So I've been spinning off and on since 1977, but I have focused on it the most the last 20 years. I have a podcast that I talk about spinning. Did about 8 years of that. It's Yarn Spinner's Tales. Can be found at yarnspinnerstales.com. And you should be able to, it's right up there, Yarn Spinner's Tales. That's my internet name. When I put these 2 strands together, these 2 bobbins, there is no way the colors will match up. They will ride against each other. So it'll be a very visually complex yarn. Thank you. I like the colors too. I don't remember what the dyer named this. What'd she name this? This might have been part of her Taro series. Elusive. No. The name of the dyeing is called Elusive. Or the name of the fiber. I'm just making sure my hands are in the camera. I thought they had it set up pretty good. The silk is charged. Um, Fibers are standing out away from, so there's two charges in there where it's popping away from the center of it in some places. Have no idea why, just rubbing it, I guess. Maybe that's where I actually was holding it when I was drafting. Yeah, I'm glad you like to ask questions, Rivulet. Um, my favorite things to knit are lace patterns, like shawls and lace scarves. Um, I have done a number of sweaters. I have done a big, thick, bulky hand spun into a rug that I put on the floor beside my bed that, it was just great big, massive size 13 needles and garter stitch, but I used real bright colors. It's so cheerful looking, and it's so nice to step out with your bare feet from the bed. I knit my cat a cat bed once. He sleeps. I've had a couple cats since I've made it. They all have slept in it some, mostly during the winter. My current cat has slept in it during the winter. But I'm very slow knitter. Oh, and I knit a lot of socks. I do sock madness, and I knit at least one or two pairs during that. But yeah, I like knitting socks a lot too. But I'll tell you what, I use mostly commercial yarn for socks because I don't like real bulky socks. I want to be able to wear them in my shoes. So I use commercial yarn. I have spun a number of small skeins of cashmere, and I have been thinking about making a bed sock of cashmere. That would be hand spun. Well, you take a look around Twitch. Um, you'll see other people if you get out of the if you stay in the makers and crafters. I was gonna say get out of the gaming one, but if they're in the makers and crafters, and I will admit I haven't seen all that many. I just happen to know a few that do, and it's not me like me. I spin almost every stream. Tuesdays I stream in the morning, and a lot of times I'm doing a craft. I'm knitting or cross stitching or something like that, just for a break. But if I stream other times, I'm spinning. Thank you for the follow. I just saw that too. I have a little alert board. I didn't. I never can catch what pops up on the screen. I'm always got my head down looking at the whatever I'm spinning. But thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Don't stop. Stop, stop. Yeah, you messed up there. There we go. You're planning on doing some Halloween decorations for your next project. Halloween decorations in Norway are basically non-existent apart from plastic skeletons and fake cobwebs. So are you not a native uh, to Norway, and that's why you know about and enjoy decorations, or are you trying to trend set and get them interested? Do they do any of the trick or treating or anything like that? I think that in the US here we do it so big because that's we're being driven by people selling the stuff. But, it's nothing wrong with it. People enjoy decorating their house. That's fine. I have to admit, I'm a very active Christmas decorator. I love decorating for Christmas. I don't do we do not we live way out in the country, so we do not get trick-or-treaters. So I don't decorate for Halloween. I might if I was in town where other people were and we had trick-or-treaters. You follow a bunch of American people who like Halloween. Oh, so you see it on Twitch. So I'm jealous. Kids do trick-or-treating, but that's about it for Halloween. Okay. Well, it's really cool, especially if they're crafting, and you can pick up on some of the crafting for it. I did um, 3 crocheted pumpkins. They were not the standard orange. It was a kit, right? So they provided the yarn. It was more like fall colors. Um, so you can leave it out as a fall decoration. I really enjoyed that. I had a lot of fun making those pumpkins. Stuffed them, of course, and they were quick. It was bigger, thicker yarn. Um, that was a kit from Mary Maxim, which is a United States craft supplier, knitting yarn. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not, but they are here in the US. But with the internet, you can find your patterns and stuff. That would be a lot of fun if you're really interested, is just to see what you can find. Oh, it's not going to go in when I have it wrapped around there. I was like, you're not moving. The only thing I don't watch much that there is a lot of on, is cooking shows. Of course, I don't watch them on TV either here in the United States, but I know there's a lot of people who enjoy the cooking part of the makers too. It just depends. You say you know about the American stores, but it depends on whether they, you can get it shipped or even have it arrive if you get it shipped. I don't know. I haven't bought anything from overseas for a long time. There was a time I was buying some stuff from Australia, um, because it was wool from, fleece from Australia, and Great Britain because there's a lot of sheep breeders in the southeast corner of Britain. Big sheep breeding area. So I was buying some fiber from them. I haven't bought too much from overseas lately. Yeah, shipping costs is extremely expensive. That's what. Oh, see, now I got a thick spot here again. Need to fix this. Come back. Christmas is huge there. Yeah. You're happy about that? You might crochet some Christmas gifts. Oh, good. Like what? Like what? Scarves? I imagine you do a lot of warm, cold weather knitting. Warm things for that. But there's a lot of cute, Santas and elves and things like that too. I've seen patterns for. You can get your really pretty feminine doilies. I love that kind of crochet where it's real fine. I love that. Do you do that? Love that kind of crochet. Very old fashioned looking. It isn't that high yet. You will, yeah. Maybe some beanies, yeah. Lots of bright colors and they can match their outfits. I have a big basket full of hats and scarves that I have done over the years. It takes me a long time to do any knit or crochet project because I don't work on it constantly. I spend so much of my time spinning that, I might knit an hour once or twice a week. So I don't get a whole bunch done. The most amazing thing about this fiber being silk, it's from a silkworm. And being mulberry silk, that silkworm was only fed mulberry leaves. They believe that it makes a better silk. And I'm not enough of an expert on silk to be able to say, yes, it is much better or not. I just know that it's amazing. But it's also amazing that I should have brought some, I have some cocoons, silk cocoons. I should have brought them, show them on the stream because they're little round cocoons and there is a process for start soaking those so that they soften and starting a strand and doing what they call reeling the silk off, which the strand it's continuous in the cocoon. And their goal is to get that continuous strand. Now, it doesn't always work. Could be flaws in it or whatever, but that's where this comes from. This is bug spit, moth spit. because it spun that cocoon around itself. Something so beautiful. Oh, granny squares are good too. Trying to finish a granny square tote, crocheting them all together took forever. Yeah. But granny squares are fun. I like those. They look old fashioned too. And you can use up yarn. It's a good way to use up yarn. A lot of spinners say that they learned to knit first or crochet, and they wanted to make the yarn because they had worked with the yarn. But I learned to knit very early, and that was not why I picked up spinning. Um, I just was very much a child of the 1970s, where in we kind of had a back to the land movement where people were trying to do everything for themselves, right? Make their clothes, raise their food. I had dairy goats. I mean, that's what I was doing, and spinning was part of that. Yeah, I wanted it to make the yarn, but it wasn't because I wouldn't go to the store and buy yarn if I wanted it. It was the skill that intrigued me. I'm always about, and then I always want to turn around and teach it, right, after I learn the skill. So um, it was learning the skill that really got me into the spinning. Okay, stretch my arms here. Mittens are big. Yeah, yeah, mittens are good. I like mittens, but I like making mittens. I don't like wearing them as much. They're although if I'm driving, that's I'll wear mittens. It's if you try to do anything else. They're kind of clumsy. Now I have made mittens out of my hand spun. Good heavy wool. Made some gauntlets. Went almost up to my elbow in wool. That was when I had to go out and scrape the snow and ice off the car. That's what I always wore. Kept it out of running. It kept it. If the ice and snow went down my sleeves, I didn't feel it. They were knit. We still have occasional heavy times during the winter, but I'm retired. I don't have to get out and go to work, so I don't I just stay at home during those times. Turn the oven on, bake something. Cuddle under a blanket. Or if I really get fed up with it, pack a suitcase and hubby and I go down to Florida, which is always warmer, a lot warmer. Come back in a couple weeks. You love winter and snow. It's a good thing. You want to go skiing this year. You haven't done that in years. Oh, enjoy. You must not live close to. Of course, don't. Maybe it's not popular in Norway. I don't know. I'm thinking of the. Oh, it's not skiing downhill. Cross country skis are real popular too. Is that what you mean? Or do you mean downhill? Yeah, cross country. Yeah, you've never done downhill. You're too much of a scaredy cat for that. I think it would be really scary. I wouldn't want to do it at all. But I don't think I even could do cross country. I have very poor ankles. You have to have, like, I could never ice skate, even as a young adult. I tried a number of times, and I didn't have the support around where you have to with that ankle and the muscle and all that, I guess. I could never ice skate. It always looks so pretty. I watch the skating on the TV, it just always looks so pretty. I could never do it. That kind of the athletes that are so good at that, I mean, they start out so young. They build up those muscles, I think. Sledding's all right. The one thing I've never done that I would do if I ever had the opportunity is a sleigh ride. Ride on the ice and snow with a horse and a sleigh. I don't know if anybody. I'm sure there are farmers that have that set up. Not here, in the northern part of our country, up in Wisconsin and northern Michigan, and up into the northern, like Maine, New England states. I imagine they do that there. But it's still, it snows. It's my favorite to be inside with a fire in the fireplace and watching it through the window. I love seeing snowflakes come down. Oh, I never thought about doing it like that. That would be very pretty. I don't have any tattoos, but I certainly have thought about it. You're traveling to 5 hours to get tattooed? Um, is there a reason? Is that normal, or is it like a specific person, that tattoo artist that you want to go to? And I think uh, I can't imagine doing a tattoo on a person. I really can't. But the standard English joke is, well, doesn't hurt me a bit. I don't know how much it hurts you, but it doesn't hurt me any. Specific tattooer, yes. Okay. You've already gotten tattooed by her twice, and you love her style and you trust her completely. Yeah, okay. Okay, that really makes sense. But how do you come to know that kind of information? Like, you know, to even try the first time that they're that good. It has to be word of mouth recommendation, or um, being able to see somebody's tattoo that she had done. Well, it's a big difference between that and like going to a hairdresser. And many people are really, really picky about who they go to, but um, and I have gone to the same one for a long time because he's good, and he knows my hair and he does a good job. But um, what I'm saying is a tattoo is so permanent, and a hair will grow, right? It's not like trying to find a good hairdresser. A lot of people fuss over that.
You don't have to love laundry to love Arm& Hammer Plus OxyClean. It removes microscopic stains and dirt for a deep, hygienic clean.
Oh, Instagram. How about that? Never thought of that. Next tattoo she's doing is your childhood cat. You don't worry about, yeah, don't worry about the hair. Well, shaving your head is absolutely a personal choice. I associate it too much with chemotherapy, not from personal experience, but like from my mom, um, to have the desire to do it. If I ever unfortunately have to take chemotherapy and lose my hair, I will have my head shaved before that. Just, before that happens. Just so that I don't have to see the long hair come out. Okay, I need to change what I'm doing here. There we go. I talk to myself quite a bit, so it may come across as mumbling. I'm sorry. Um, but sometimes as I'm doing something, I will end up talking to myself, and I realize it about halfway through the sentence that I'm not talking very loud. I'm not talking out loud. You got you get that tattoos are very permanent, and you might hate them for 30 years, but that's not a problem for that time, if that makes sense. But that's a problem for that time. Yeah, yeah. I have fuzz up my nose. This stuff is so fuzzy. Well, I've done about half the ball. That's pretty good. It's over an hour, but actually it's going well. Thought it'd go a little slower than it's going faster than I thought. Is what I'm trying to say. I probably took more breaks than I needed to yesterday when I was doing the first bobbin. However, I was unsure how much my knee could take, and I'm a little more prepared today because I know it didn't bother me as much as I thought it would, so I'm not as worried about it today. But it is very repetitive to do this, especially on that ankle hinge of your foot, right? Where your foot is flat and going up and down like you're tapping rhythm to music or something. It's extremely rhythmic and it's constant, so it can be repetitive. I was a med tech, which is a person with a license and college degree to run the blood tests that you have done in a laboratory, either in the hospital or sometimes a standalone laboratory. So if the doctor wants to know what your blood glucose is and they draw your blood, that's what I did. And I worked for 42 years in various environments, but mostly hospital. It almost always was hospital. I was a generalist in the sense that I could work in any part of the laboratory, but my favorite part was blood bank, which is the part of the you getting a unit of blood, not taking blood like the Red Cross does for use, but after that unit of blood and what testing we have to do in order to safely give it to a patient is many things. First of all, their blood type, but it's many other things too. Anyway, that was my favorite part. I enjoyed that. I worked a trauma area for a while, which for 12 years actually, so that, the automobile wrecks, gunshots, things that used quite a bit of blood, surgery cases. I worked in a trauma blood bank for 12 years. Then I took a sabbatical because I did burn out just a little bit after that. I was pretty high stress. Oh, you used to give platelets. Yes, you know exactly. And then you can't give anymore. I know. That's what they are, very, very picky. And it's with good reason because not everybody can tolerate that medication, and it's in your blood. And we put it in that person's body. And like my husband is allergic to aspirin. It's very conceivable if he got blood that had somebody had taken aspirin, he might react to it. He might not, but it's possible. So they try to monitor the medications for that reason. And platelet is just one of the components. Unfortunately, it's one of the shortest shelf life. I think it's 5 days. So there's a high demand for it. And people who are on cancer treatments often need platelets. There are people who, in general, just don't make them. Maybe they're taking a medication that has made them stop being produced, or they have a cancer of the bone marrow that has kept them. One of the most fascinating parts of the blood banking was when I worked the trauma center. It wasn't part of the trauma, but it was connected with the hospital blood bank where I worked, was a cancer center, and the patients were getting bone marrow transplants. And I'm sure this is enough laymen know what I'm talking about when I talk about that. So when you get a bone marrow transplant, you change blood types. You become the blood type of whatever the donor was. And during that process, when you are going through that change, you have to pretty much get stuff that is neither type, but safe to give, like AB plasma or platelets, or O-neg blood. And then we would do testing, just their blood type. And one day they would pop up and they had changed. They actually registered a different blood type. And it was just so cool. It was like, we're just doing the lab work, but we could see the process in the patient and the healing in the patient, and hopefully the fact that it was going to do the patient some good, that they got that transplant. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Okay, I don't know if this is taken up or not. Are you taking up? You got your healthy boyfriend who used to be very scared of needles. Men are, to give blood. He has not done it for several years. Good for you. Yes, I know men are very afraid of needles. But the last time we went to the doctor, oh, stop. You are running away here. We had to have our blood drawn just for routine yearly blood tests. And my husband has great big veins, but they missed him and bruised him terrible. And it made him so mad. And that's why I think a lot of times men don't like needles, because they have had maybe some bad experiences, just because I think their blood, the anatomy of their veins can be so different that not all blood drawers do a very good job getting it. Just a little bit of observation from my years of knowing many of the phlebotomists who were workers with me. Well, the needle thing, for that, I don't know what the pain level is, but they say it's nature's way of letting women have babies, right? To give us a higher tolerance for pain. I don't know if that's true or not, but. And then, I say that, but I can tell you the years that I struggled with needing knee replacements, the pain was horrendous. So, I wasn't very tolerant of that pain. Anyway, giving blood's a good thing. I haven't been able to do it for years either because of my medications, but it's always a good thing. I gave many, many units of blood when I was younger. That's the population they need to use anyway. They're healthy. They, quick recovery. Busy, active lifestyle. Don't even think about it. Just go do it and be busy with your life. I have considered checking to see if uh, platelet is a possibility for me because I know that in some ways they have changed what medications they are allowing and not allowing. So I have to call and see sometime. It's probably very late there for you. Are you not a sleeper? I just realized it's probably pretty late there for you, right? About 5 or 6 hours? Really? Tattoos are the worst pain you've ever experienced, but you still sit through the tattoos like a champ because it's what you want. It's something you want. Well, that's discouraging. I didn't realize they hurt that much. You can't give plateless blood, but last year you donated hair. Oh, for the first time. And you're an organ donor, so that makes up for it. Yes, it does. Organ donor is a big deal. I donated my hair once. It was natural color then. It wasn't gray, but it hadn't been dyed either. That was one of the things they were requesting. I went through a lot of years of dyeing my hair after it started getting gray. And I finally, during the pandemic, I said, I'm gonna go gray. It's time. Time I looked my age. I need to scooch my knee over here a little bit so you can see this. Usually about this time in the stream, I'm talking about what's for supper. Because this stream ends, and then usually I have to do something about supper. And sometimes I do things ahead of time, and sometimes I'm like, ugh, I gotta do something for supper. Tonight is leftover night. Gonna eat leftovers. It's 10:30. Yeah, okay, it's not as late as I thought. Sometimes when I talk to people like in Germany or somewhere in like it's usually Germany I'm talking to somebody, but it just seems like they're hitting close to midnight when I'm talking to them. Ouch. Just banged my shin. Excuse me. This is the most relaxed you've been in a while. You're crocheting, talking to you, and have a live stream of a train going through Norway on your second monitor. Oh, that is wonderful. Probably beautiful scenery. Well, if you have a stressful job, I hope this has recharged you for your Monday morning. And if you don't have a stressful job, then I am glad that we can start your week out so good. No job, stressed over brain instead. You have a lot of mental issues you're working through, and your anxiety's been through the roof lately. Well, yes, that's, oh, you know, you seem good at self care, and that's really important. But the struggle is real. I know that. I have one streamer that I watch. She would be on in the middle of your night, so that's not very convenient for you. Um, and she spins, and she is often on, well, she comes on like 11 p.m. my time. And it's so wonderful. Sometimes I don't even watch, I just have it on and lay there and listen to her voice as she talks. And, if I want to talk to her, I do. If I don't feel like doing the typing, I just lay there, and it's very, very, very relaxing. And so I know what you're talking experiencing. Um, I don't have a stressful life. I feel like being at home all the time, when you work, that is your goal and what you think would make life perfect. But the honest truth is, there's just as much going on in the world, whether you work or at home, and you still are going to be affected by what's going on in the world, and then closer to home, what's going on around you. So you can't avoid it, work or not work. You're too pretty hard towards yourself. By the way, your English is fantastic. I meant to say something earlier because I have, uh, even people who I can't tell English is your second language at all. Um, you can tell because the syntax is, you get the other people that speak other languages get their syntax wrong in the English, but I have trouble remembering that you are not in the United States because your English is excellent. Um, and that's part of the issue. You're very hard on yourself. Um, you are not trauma dumping, not at all. Really, um, I got sidetracked there, from what you were talking about with the English and your grasp of it, but I am very impressed. So I think being hard on ourselves is one of our ways of driving ourselves to improve. It is just as in everything, understanding boundaries and also understanding what the reason is, right? That there is something to learn and take advantage of that. I don't usually have a lot of chat in my streams, to be honest with you. I have a very faithful few and some of them are here today. They're just being quiet. They'll say hi, but more often than not, you know, we don't talk too much. Um, so it has been nice to have somebody to talk to the whole stream. I really have. It has passed the time for me. I wasn't sure. I wasn't really looking forward to spinning this, and I have to because I am going to put this skein of yarn with some others in what is called our state fair, and it's going to get judged. So I have to turn that in next weekend, and I'm on a deadline to get it done. So I couldn't put it off. I had to do it. And it really has been nice to have the chat to focus on instead of this is something I can do without really much focus, right? It's dexterity, manual, and repetitive. English was always your favorite subject in school, and it comes very naturally. Yes. And you've been gaming for 10 years, so that has definitely helped. Um, yes. On Twitch, have you been mostly on Twitch or I don't know gaming communities at all. Um, I do play uh, stuff on my iPad that is more, they're just personal things like crossword puzzles and other kind of puzzles. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into the gaming communities, but you are. I can see I can tell that what you're saying is correct. That the more you did it, the more native you sound, really. Hello, Miss Erlo, spinning and listening, heart. What are you spinning tonight? I gotta fix this. Doggone it. This is 100% mulberry silk that I am spinning. And you probably heard me say, getting ready, the skein ready to put in our state fair, which is coming up at the end of this month. Minecraft. Oh, yes, my grandson plays Minecraft. Okay. Uh, you were wrapping a long length onto your spindle? Oh, okay. And you play Minecraft too. I do not, but familiar with it. One of the things I have discovered is that over the years, not just streaming, I've been streaming 3 years, but before that, I did a lot of time at the desktop doing the podcasts. And I just didn't want to sit at the desktop to play a game. So I started in with games on the iPad. And of course, they're not compatible, right? The desktop and the iPads aren't compatible. So I tend to play the things that I can play on the iPad or my iPhone. And they're just not the big community games um, as much as on desktops on OS. And you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's just that I'm still in that sort of that same frame of mind. I don't want to sit and play a game at my desktop. I want to get in my comfy chair and put my feet up, which, that's in the living room. And so I play on my iPad. I've played some world building games on a laptop over the years, and they always went away. The games always ended. I mean, they wouldn't support them anymore. They took the servers down. I was like, I just built this world, and you took it away. So I kind of gave up. I can't even remember the name of them. There were a couple. I cannot even remember. Oh, Unicreatures was one of them. That was one name. I don't remember some of the others. I had a fondness for programs that you bred and you had various possible resulting creatures. It appealed to my laboratory genetic knowledge and that sort of thing in a very minor way because there was no real genetics to it. But yeah, Banished is a good one. Okay. I missed a few here. Fellow MC player. You bought this fiber 12 years ago before you learned. It's 8 ounces of hobo. I don't know what you mean by hobo. And I'm almost at the end of it. Um, Minecraft is just so cozy and nostalgic. Yeah. Yes, that has been very true. PlayStation, um, I mean, I've even gone, my grandson, of course, he's 10, so, he is just all about everything like that, Xbox and all that. And he tries to teach me how to play a game with him, and I can't do it. Those controllers are like a mystery. Oh, brown and white. Is it wool, Miss Erlo? I'll write down Banished. I'll look it up. You like the barber pole effect? Yeah, I know. Or maybe even a Nintendo Switch. Have you heard of the Animal Crossing? I have. I've heard a lot of people that play it too. Um, that is definitely a one that I know a number of streamers have played. It's Cordell. Okay. I know what you mean by that brown and white. I've had it in cotton. Uh, it was like a green and white, but um, I've never heard it called hobo before. You don't have a console you play on your desktop or a laptop? We don't have any laptops that work anymore. For a while there, that's what we were doing, but then we both went to. I went to an iPad, and hubby is content to have um, the Kindle, the Fire, because we have the Prime subscription, and he just whatever he has limited vision, so he doesn't do too much on computers anyway. But he can watch video on it and do a few other things like that. For a while he was playing some games, but he's not very interested in it. So that's why I don't really uh, think about getting a. I wouldn't have anybody to play with for one thing, but I don't know if it's connected to the internet, right? You can just find a if it's a game that you play with other people on PlayStations or Xboxes, you can find other players, right? There's players there, right? Because it's connected to the internet. You can see how little I know about it. I think I just connected the wrong end to this. Oh, well, I think I'm getting tired. I think I need to stop for a while. I'm going to be taking a break anyway. It's getting harder to keep it from getting thick on me. You have you have a lil. Okay, I have to think about what that is. I'm back up here. You have it in gray that almost looks blue to you too. Okay. You have a little over 500 hours. Oh, a little over. Is that what you're saying? A little over 500 hours in Animal Crossing? Wow. That's impressive. You have a Switch and a PC. You can play with other people online. Yeah. Mr. Lowe says you have a Kindle Fire 8 and it's your book. Okay. But when my computer died, I did a lot of things on it, even Minecraft and Twitch. I have Twitch on my iPad. I can't quite talk hubby into understanding Twitch. I mean, he doesn't even watch what I do. He's never listened to any of my podcasts, which is all right. I mean, in a way, it's kind of freeing, right? Knowing that he's not listening in, but I'm not talking about him usually anyway. Yeah, a little. I got it. Your main is a desktop PC, right? And you have 99.5 hours in Banished. What are you doing here? Go get that half hour. Oh. Yes. Oh, it has been wonderful. I hate to wrap this stream up, but I usually only do 2 hours. Um, and I have enjoyed talking to everybody. I'm so glad you stopped by. Rivolette, it was nice to meet you and talk to you. I'm going to go to my full face here. There we go. So we can say a proper goodbye. You're going to sleep too. I know you need to go to sleep. And Mr. Loyal, I'm glad you stopped by. Appreciate talking to you. All of you that have been busy doing stuff and working with your crafts, I am glad that you kept me company too. I'm going to be back Tuesday morning. Usually it's around 11 a.m. my time. That's Eastern Standard Time in the United States. And it is my hope that that's normally my craft day. And today I will either be knitting or I'll be Kitchenering the scarf together. One of the two. I'm hoping that I'm to the point I can be putting it together because it's also for the state fair. So needs to be done. And that'll be Tuesday morning. So until then, everybody have a great start to the week. And I will talk to you whenever. Should we try and raid? I don't have much luck raiding. Once in a while I find somebody, but let me see here. I'm gonna turn the music off. Gotta figure out how to do that. There we go. Okay, Sleeping Lunar Designs doing a Nintendo Switch cross stitch. Science is my favorite science bug man. I don't know what he does on Sundays though. Woolly Deeve Deeve is weaving. Let me go take a look at her and see what she's up to.
There are no words to describe the perfect pairing of Zaxby's hand-breaded fingers and our 12 delectable sauces. But there is a sound.
We got somebody doing wood burning.
The Zaxby's chicken finger plate with endless sauce abilities.
Starting your Julia Child theme. Oh, that's a food and drink. Somebody's doing a Julia Child thing. I do like Julia Child. Okay. I like this. She's got a little table loom. It's got a plaid pattern going. Let's go raid her. Everybody still there? Okay. Let's see if I can. There we go. I have trouble. Sometimes raids work and sometimes they don't. We are going to WOOLY DEV. I don't know if you'll see this or not. Woolly Dev. Dev. Not sure what it is. That's where we're going. Let me plug my so I can hear.
At all. But like, so the reason
Excuse
that I
me.
consider
Mouse
myself being
sound.
homeless
Okay.
at
Bye.
13
We're raiding.
is because I never knew where I was going to go to sleep. And it would